This is a story you'll definitely want to hear to the very end. My life with John was a fairy tale. We met in college, fell madly in love, and got married right after graduation. He was my best friend, my soulmate, my everything. We built a house by the lake, lived quietly, peacefully, enjoying every day. We had a perfect life. Until Sarah disappeared. Sarah was my younger sister. She was cheerful, impulsive, and full of energy. We were very close, despite our different personalities. She often came to visit us on weekends, and we spent time walking in the woods, swimming in the lake, just enjoying each other's company. John loved Sarah too. They often joked, laughed, and I was happy that my closest people got along so well. One summer evening, Sarah came to visit us, as usual. We had dinner, talked about weekend plans. Everything was as it always was. I went to bed early, feeling tired after a long day. John stayed in the living room watching TV. I heard his laughter, snippets of Sarah's phrases. Everything was normal. In the morning, I woke up and found Sarah gone. Her bed was neatly made, her things were on the chair. At first, I thought she had just gone for a run or a walk, but hours passed and Sarah was still nowhere to be found. I started to worry. John also looked troubled. We called all her friends, her colleagues, but no one knew where she was. We contacted the police. The police began an investigation. The house was searched, neighbors interviewed, but no trace. Sarah simply vanished, dissolved into thin air. Days turned into weeks, weeks into months. Hope dwindled with each passing day. I couldn't sleep, couldn't eat. My life turned into hell. John tried to support me, but I saw that he was suffering too. We both felt guilty. If only I hadn't been asleep, if only I had heard something. The police closed the case, having found no clues. Sarah was declared missing. Life went on, but without Sarah. John and I tried to return to normal life, but it was impossible. Her absence was constantly felt. I often cried at night, remembering her laughter, her smile. A year passed. I still couldn't come to terms with the loss. I spent hours by the lake, looking at the water, trying to imagine what had happened. And one day, as I sat there, my gaze fell upon an old wooden box nailed to a tree trunk. It was half buried in the ground, and I had never noticed it before. Out of curiosity, I tried to open it. The box was firmly locked. It took a lot of effort to dig it out and finally break the lock. Inside, I found several old photographs and letters. The photographs were taken long ago. They showed a young woman, incredibly similar to Sarah, and next to her, John, my John. In the photos, they looked very close. In one, he was hugging her. In another, they were laughing together, holding hands. I couldn't believe my eyes. I began to read the letters. They were written by John. In them, he wrote about his love for Sarah, how happy he was with her, how he dreamed of a future. The dates on the letters indicated that they were written before John and I got married. But there were other, later letters. In them, John wrote about his love for Sarah, but with pain now. He wrote that he loved me, but couldn't forget Sarah. He wrote that he was trapped between two women he loved. And the last letters were full of despair. He wrote that he didn't know how to get out of this situation. A chilling horror washed over me. My husband, the man I trusted most in the world, was in love with my sister. And, judging by the letters, they were together. While he and I were dating, he was with her. And then, after our wedding, he still loved her. And Sarah loved him too. I got up and walked to the house. My hands were trembling, my heart was pounding in my chest. I found John in the living room. He was reading a book, as usual. I placed the photographs and letters on the table in front of him. He looked up, and his face instantly turned pale. "What is this?" I asked, my voice trembling. He was silent, his eyes darting from the photos to the letters. He looked like he'd been caught red-handed. "It's Sarah and you," I said. "You were together all this time." He lowered his head. "Catherine, I can explain." "No," I interrupted him. "No explanation can justify this. You and Sarah were together when you were with me, and even after we got married. So, what happened, John? Where is Sarah?" He slowly raised his head, his eyes full of pain and despair. I don't know, Catherine. I truly don't know. She just disappeared." "That night?" He trailed off, his voice breaking. "That night what?" I demanded, feeling cold sweat run down my back. He finally spoke, his voice barely audible. "We had an argument. Sarah said she couldn't live like this anymore. She said we had to be together, that she couldn't watch me live with you. I told her I couldn't leave you, that I loved you and her. She was desperate. She said she would leave forever, and she left. I thought she just drove away. I thought she would come back, but she didn't." I stared at him, unable to believe my ears. He had been lying to me all this time. He was in love with my sister, and she disappeared after an argument with him. "You killed her?" I whispered. He sharply raised his head. No, Catherine, I swear, no. I would never. I loved her." I couldn't believe him. Too many lies, too many coincidences. I called the police. I told them everything. They took John away. The investigation resumed. The police found that the wooden box where I found the letters was made by John. Tools he used to make it were found in his workshop. Under the pressure of the evidence, John finally confessed. That night, after the argument, Sarah indeed said she would leave forever. John, in desperation, tried to stop her. They struggled. He pushed her. She fell, hit her head on a stone, and died. He was in shock, in a panic. He didn't know what to do. He buried her body in the woods near the lake and hid those letters so no one would ever know the truth. He hoped she had simply disappeared and his secret would never be revealed. My world collapsed. My husband, the man I loved, turned out to be my sister's killer. The man I trusted had been hiding a terrible secret. My fairy tale turned into a nightmare. I lost my sister, I lost my husband, I lost my life. The only things left were pain, betrayal, and this terrible, shocking truth. And the realization that love can be not only beautiful, but also incredibly destructive. If you enjoyed the story, subscribe to the channel and you'll hear even more captivating tales.